Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Extraordinary Drummer Show. As you know, I'm your host, Cheron Moore. You know, I always say today, today, today. You help me welcome my guest today, Jermaine Poindexter. Jermaine,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Happy to be here, man.
welcome to the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for having me.
I want to start here. You're from Chicago originally?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What was it like back there in
Man,
Chicago?
it was amazing. Especially, musically. That's where I can give most of the credit to a lot of the Chicago musicians and my Chicago experiences, and even just man, just being at concerts or sessions, just been able to just soak it in, man. We honestly have some of the best players, like not just drummers, but keyboard, bass. You know what I'm saying? So Chicago was definitely amazing to grow up in musically, for sure. Like huge, 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 huge.
Tell me about you getting started playing drums. How did you get turned on to drums?
I believe it was my uncle. He had a drum set in the basement. So we would just love to play that. And then, of course, being in church, I come from a pretty big church background, in the sense of even like my home church. It's crazy. I just watched the interview with Calvin, and it's the same church. Like that's our home church. Like he said, Larry Roberts.
Mhm.
That's my uncle. That's who had the drum set in the basement. Yep. Yeah, so he literally, that's who started us off. Like we wanted to be just like him. Pretty much was Larry Roberts Jr. and Senior. His dad, my grandfather, he was the one. He was the minister of music at the church for the longest, and now he's actually the bishop still to this day at that same church.
Who were some of the other drummers that you were listening to at that time that was a influence to you?
Calvin Rogers, because he was on all the records. That's kind of we come from the same era. Of course, I'm a little younger than you, but I was growing up before YouTube. So when I was 7, 8 years old, all we had were CDs and tapes. You know what I'm saying? So man, Calvin Rogers was on just about every every recording. Growing up in a sense of Chicago stuff. He was telling about Sweet Holy Spirit, his main church. They were huge in Chicago, and they have Calvin played on probably like 6 of their records, man. So Sweet Holy Spirits, the Vashawn Mitchell. He's Chicago. My church, Ricky Dillard is Chicago. Like I grew up on all these records. Literally at 7, 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? So Calvin was definitely one of those. Rex Hardy was definitely one of those. Rexel Hardy Jr. A guy by the name of Gerald Scooter Gray. Of course, my uncle Larry. He was the first one. We literally wanted to be just like him. So Larry was definitely like the main inspiration for sure. And then as we got older, we just started to learn about more and more.
Take me to high school. What was the scene like in high school?
So my mom, she put us in a private school, a private Catholic school. Just because a lot of the schools, could be quote unquote, dangerous, and may not have the best um what's the word? They just may not be. It just I could just be around certain things that I shouldn't be around at a certain age. Rather, you know what I'm saying. So she put us in a private school, but it was huge though because the band program was crazy. Like we competed nationally. So it was huge for me because yeah, that's where I learned about discipline and I learned how to read in high school. All that, marching band was serious there. The concert band, timpani, I had to play the marimba fluently. Like I played all that stuff in high school, man. Seriously, man.
Tell me about. I'm going to come up to Marvin here in a second. Um, how did you get accepted into Berkeley? How did all that go, and what were some of your experiences at Berkeley?
Man, it was cool. I man, it's so crazy. I actually wasn't I was going to take a semester or a year off from school. Just being honest, I was never the school person. So I was thinking about taking some time off. And it's so crazy because it's like my mom probably won't even remember this, but it's like she was okay with me doing it. And it got to January of my senior year. It's like you graduate May-ish, June vibes. So it got to January, and I don't know how it came up again. And she randomly hit me with you're either going to school this year or, just not going at all. You know what I'm saying? Because, they always say once you take time off, you're just going to, something else may come up or you may get lazy, just whatever it be. So she like, you really need to go this year if you're going to do school. So, man, I registered for Berkeley 10 days late. Like registration was over. I believe it was like the 15th of January. I registered January 25th, and they still let me audition. They still left it open. Thank God. I'm talking about literally it was exactly 10 days. And I went out there because I'd never been to Boston before. My audition was in March because I missed the Chicago audition. Like Berkeley, they travel to different cities, like all over the states. And I missed the Chicago one. So I thank God my mom actually agreed to let me go to Boston, and she came with me. And man, I did audition. I played a funk track by Donye Goodman, and I guess they loved me.
Were you kind of nervous the first few days you walked into Wally's? A lot of great people came out of that club.
Man, a lot of great people. Actually, not really. It's so crazy because the owners of Wally's last name was Poindexter too. Last name was Poindexter too. So they welcomed me in. Wally's was 21 plus. I was going to Wally's when I was 18, man. So they actually welcomed me in. So yeah, not really. Of course I couldn't drink. That wasn't I wasn't drinking like that. Anyway. So as long as I didn't drink, I was cool. So they would let me in, 18, 19 years old, and I started playing there. Probably like I started playing there often, probably around 19. Yep. Like Wally's was like a norm after a while. Yep.
Jermaine, let's talk a little drum technique, a little drum talk here.
Okay.
As I said, what an amazing drummer you are. One of the things, as I said, I like about your playing is not only you're a chopper, but you're musical, man. Before I get to technique itself, where the heck you get that from?
It just came over time because now I learned the why. I tell all my friends that, learn why, the people that you look up to are where they are, learn why they play shows or recordings, concerts, whatever, why they play it that way, you know what I'm saying? Like why they do this, why they do that. But that's really what it's about, learning the why. So once I learned that, and I could say that probably hit home for me probably about, I'll say maybe 21, 22, where I just truly just started to just understand music. And then, of course, the people around me, I've been blessed to, always be around older guys and even guys my age that are just super talented in musical. So I've learned over time. And then when I got the LMA gig, that just stretched me even more, so that's probably what it is, man.
What is your approach behind the drums? How do you stack that stuff? You literally come from a beat to like the freaking moon or something. How do you stack that stuff? What's going through your head to stack it the way you do?
It's crazy. I don't really think about much anymore, you know what I'm saying? Because I've just been doing it a while now. I think for me, I just want everything to make sense. I've learned that if you play to the music, if you play to the lyrics, you probably won't ever be in the way. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I do things. I try to play to the music, and play to the artist, even dynamics wise, that was a big thing that I learned on the Ella gig, because they would be complaining about me being too loud or so. That's when I had to learn how to, just, pick and choose with rooms that I was in and, I'm saying, stuff like that. Cause, every room is different, AKA the stage being smaller, so I'm closer to the artist and her mic and all that stuff like that. So, it just came over time really. And now when I'm playing drums, just like you said, it really is painting a picture, like it's like I'm trying to, cause like the goal is to have the song grow, like whether it's live, a recording or a drum cover, like you always just want the song to do this opposed to you just like boom, it's like you kind of want it to do that. So that's really how I think. So it just naturally comes out, like seriously.
Jermaine, you having fun over there at that Ella May gig?
Oh, absolutely, man.
She won a Grammy.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of another one of your credits and artists you work with, what's it like? We mentioned this earlier. What was it like working with Marvin Sapp?
Life changing, man. That was young. That was young Jermaine. I was 19 when I started doing that gig. So, like everything was just, they call them slates, in the sense of, intro, 2, 3, 4, all the count-ins. Like the show was literally well thought out. Like we would easily do 15 to 20 songs per gig. Oh yeah, man. 19 years old, learning all these songs. But it was cool though, because I grew up on Marvin music, and then my brother did the gig before me, Clemens. He was doing the gig, so I actually got to see him do the gig probably 2 or 3 times. So I was familiar with the gig, so that's why that was another reason I got the call, because I was always around, So like I just fit in. But it's one thing to watch, but one thing to actually be on drums and do it. So yeah, man, that was the first situation for me where it was just like, yeah, this is like the big boy level for sure. Cause yeah, you had to be on it, a no lacking.
Let me move you forward here. Television appearance. Boy, you've done it all. I needed another 3 or 4 sheets of paper here. Television appearance. What was it like doing the American Music Awards?
Crazy, man. That was one of our best performances. It was crazy. One of the producers of the show had came to us and was just like, man, you guys were seriously like one of the best people we've had like ever, like literally, and we were always getting compliments when we were doing these shows. So it was just like the best feeling ever, because it was just, it's like that's what you work hard for, So yeah, it was just amazing. Like everyone is cool, It's like I've learned you're there for a reason, if you're in that room for a reason, you deserve to be there. So it's like you better act like it, you know what I'm saying? So whether that's playing or, how you talk to people, any of that. So man, it was great.
Were you nervous playing on camera like that?
Man, no, man, because I
No?
did it so much by then. Before the American Music Awards, we did the BET Awards, we did Jimmy Kimmel, we did Jimmy Fallon, so we did all these before. So TV stuff just became clockwork. Like it's the same people. Like it's like anything, you can always see the same people. It was the same producers and sound engineers at every every joint that we did. So we literally, people knew us and we knew them. So it was, man, it started just to become so easy. So when we did the American Music Awards, we already knew the people. It was the same people from the BET Awards, So it's like that's just kind of how this stuff go,
Let's talk about this one, Saturday Night Live.
Yes, sir. One of my
you have
best
to be nervous for
experiences.
that one now.
Nope. No, sir. And Saturday Night is live too. A lot of these TV shows aren't live, but Saturday Night Live is in the name. It is live. You know what I'm saying? So it was great, man. I got to meet a childhood hero of mine, Kenan Thompson. Oh yeah, I got to meet him. Steve Carell was the host. He was the featured host for that. So I met Steve Carell. I was around all these amazing guys. So man, Saturday Night Live, it was amazing because we were there it's like a 3-day process, I believe. One day is like a rehearsal, 1 or 2 day rehearsal, in a taping day. So yeah, like we were in New York for like the whole week and stuff like that. So it was great, man.
Endorsements. What are you doing in endorsements? What drums, what cymbals, and so forth?
Man, Tama drums is crazy. I ended up getting a Tama drum set for Berkeley. I remember because I was blessed to already know a couple guys there. Like one of my best friends from Chicago went to Berkeley 2 years before I did. So he was one of the ones that was telling me a lot of guys don't be having drum sets and this, that, and the third. So man, I found a used Tama kit. Never really played Tama like a lot, but like once I got the kit, I fell in love with it. And that was when I was 18, and that was a lower, that it wasn't the top line kit, and it sounded so good and felt so good, So I played Tama drums, Sabian cymbals, Vic First sticks, Empire ears, Clear Sound baffles, which pretty much took over for like the plexiglass, like the ugly glasses that they have in front of the drums. Like Clear Sound baffles are literally circles of the glass pretty much, and you can put 2 or 3 in front of your drum set. So I was using that all while I was on the Ella gig. I'm trying to see if I have anything else. I play Remo drum heads, it's my favorite. And I think that's it.
Jermaine, we got a thing that we do on the show we call Word of Advice, where I ask the drummers if they will leave a parting word of advice for the young guys, the up-and-coming guys, even the guys that are at the next level, but that are trying to get traction in this game, in this industry. Would you leave them a word of advice, please?
Word of advice. Man, I'll just say, man, stay encouraged, man. It's real easy to get discouraged, So yeah, I'll say stay encouraged, in a sense of drums or just music. Remember, it's not about you, in the sense of, the drummer or the keyboard player. It's about, whether you're playing with an artist or whether it's a band, even a band with an artist, like we're all there to complement each other. So I'll say, man, just remember that, it's like we're there to serve more than just our egos and, the type of stuff that we can do, and us being on TV. I knew me being on TV, it wasn't about me, and that's why the performances went well. And, I got positive comments back because, I just went into it with the right mindset. So I'll say that. I could always say more things, but I think those two matter. You know what I'm saying? Just to stay encouraged, and of course keep the faith. Like faith is huge, especially being a professional musician. Because I remember for me, I thought it was going to be easy, but it honestly isn't. We're work for hire. You know what I'm saying? You could get fired from gigs. Just anything can happen. So yeah, just keep that faith.
Before I let you go, I want to squeeze this one in. What do you think of the term gospel chops, gospel drummers? Those guys, look at that face. Look at that face. Those guys, they take, it's like you get a compliment, but then you get kind of a slant at the same time. What do you think of it?
It's weird. It's so weird because man, gospel chops, it's really, I honestly don't think there's a such thing as gospel chops, because just like you were talking about before, man, there's always someone there who did it first. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I know so many guys that had that Dave Weckl Back to Basics, VHS, you know what I'm saying? And the Dennis Chambers, all his, VHSs and the DVDs he did. And all them guys are crazy, the Billy Cobb hymns, it's like, man, all these guys been doing it. Tony Williams, so I honestly don't think there's a such thing. I honestly don't know why they put that in gospel, or they put that in gospel music together. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. What about you?
I really can't touch that because I didn't come through it at all. And if there's a such thing as gospel chops in my generation, it was through jazz, and it was through avant-garde jazz, and that's real improv. I mean, that's like crazy improv, So that was needed, and there was never a time when we got to, to play like we couldn't do those kind of roles and stuff. There was a couple of guys that did it, but man, them old men would have threw a chair at us or something.
Man, seriously though, because like even in church and man, like I told you, I grew up old school, so we grew up playing devotion. That was the thing. So we wasn't sneaking in those. It was kind of like you have to really just stay there. And then even on recordings, man, I remember for the longest the thing was don't really step out. It's kind of a thing. Just play the pocket on recordings, and it's crazy just how time has evolved because that was the thing when I was 9, 10 years old. Oh yeah, man, you play sessions, pocket, this, and the third, and just over the last 15 years, man, it just changed,
Yeah, man, you're really 65, ain't you? Come on now.
25, man.
Yeah, it's like an old soul and a young body, boy.
That's what it is. That's what it is, man. I've been blessed to be around older people all my life,
Man, I really hope before I leave this earth that name Picasso, somebody pick that up and start calling you that, man. I really hope so. Because has anybody ever seen that in you? Say that you painting pictures back there and you drawing and doing stuff?
A couple people, but you definitely, I think you're the first one that called me Picasso. For sure, like. But yeah, I told you like it's just a goal of mine. So yeah, I definitely say a few people have because man, I try to approach every gig or video. It's all the same, man. We got to get it done. It sound good while doing it.
I hope you never figure it out, man, because I tell you, man, I've said this about 3 or 4 times. Boy, you are not just an awesome drummer, but you're playing music and you think outside the box, but you literally watch you painting a painting like a tapestry, like, Rembrandt or all these people, somebody's going to see that one day and they're going to say Picasso and he's going to forget all about I was the first one to say that.
No, man, I'm always remember that.
Before I let you go here, Jermaine, there's a question I always ask the drummers at the end of the show, and I want to ask you as well. Jermaine, what would you want your legacy to be said, to be told?
My legacy, man, the one that I was a good person, loved God, because that honestly matters, it's just being a good person. And that's even how you get gigs, and get called back. It's like, man, people actually gotta want to be around you so that I was a good person, that I loved music, that I loved my family, and that that I always just knew that the sky was the limit. Not really sure how to say that in words, but like I just kept reaching. And that's what it is. I never, from Boston to LA, it's like I've always stepped out on faith pretty much, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, man, I'm a God-fearing guy,
Gotta throw the word humble in there too.
Humble, yeah. I look at that as being a good person, it's like, man, we all are the same, it's like we seriously are, we all come, from a woman, and we all live life, we were all kids at one point. We all had to figure it out, what I'm saying? So it's like, man, we just all the same,
If I play drums like you, I gotta have a little bit of ego. I gotta just a little bit.
And then I had to learn confidence is definitely like still a thing, but you can be confident, but not be arrogant, at the same time, or not even have an ego, man, because it's real easy to have an ego and to be in rehearsals and somebody say something to you or be like, hey, man, maybe you should play it this way. Sometimes it's hard to be like, okay, cool. A lot of guys want to get their opinions out. So, it's just kind of just about being able to just really just dial it back because that's how you really just going to keep working,
Jermaine, let me say thank you so very much for being on the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me.
Will you help me wave goodbye to all the fans?
All right. Thank you guys for joining. It means a lot. Seriously, share,
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, okay?